Welcome everyone to the house of Dre's podcast. I am Dre himself. Hello. I'm not going to stay on the screen for too long. But basically, today is one of the topics that we talk about. I talk about probably once a year, maybe once every blue moon, probably doing election years only because I don't want to make this a habit on the channel. As of course, you've seen all the other videos and podcasts that I do on the channel and stuff itself. So here, this is only thing I'm doing. I'm legitimately just reading what they said. That's it. What their supposedly plans is. This is on CBS's News .com, and they had the plans out for the 2024 election and stuff like that. And supposedly, what both candidates, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, said that they're planning on doing. Do I believe it? Probably not. Why? Why would I? Let's be honest. Why would I believe anything that politicians have said or will do? Of course, hit the like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify or Amazon, you guys hit the follow button and share the podcast everywhere. Basically, like I said, you can look this up yourself. You can go to CBS.com or you can just look up their supposed plans, look them up, and you can find out everything they said. We're going to start off with Trump's plans first. We're gonna read what they supposedly said. I might give an opinion or two, may not. I don't know yet. I haven't decided yet. First time I'm reading this, so this is no rehearsal or anything. I'm blocking off my camera. Let's get started. So I got to pull it up on my phone. That way I don't have to read off of the website itself. Just in case some of you guys are a little bit faster at reading, it is what it is. You can read right there. Like I said, you can pull up yourself. I'm not tripping. It says taxes. Let's talk about what Trump said he proposed so far for taxes. Trump says he will extend tax cuts in 2017, which reduced taxes for most Americans through research has shown that top earners benefited the most. Trump's plans will result in tax cuts for all, but the results for Americans vastly different from Harris' proposal, according to an analyst by the Penn. What is this? Penn. Ooh, I don't even know how to say this last name. Budget model. I'm not even gonna lie. These gonna be some hard words for you, boy. I ain't gonna lie. My education is not that high. What's up, Oklahoma? Under Trump, everyone will receive a tax cut, but the lowest earners, those making under $19,600, will just see a $320 difference in take home pay, while under Harris, that same income group will have another 2,355 after taxes. The various highest earners under Trump will receive a tax break of 376,910, according to the Penn whatever analyst. Both Trump and Harris want to eliminate federal taxes on tips, something Trump proposes and Harris echoed. Trump is also promising to end income taxes on Social Security benefits, which will help middle and upper income seniors the most. Very interesting. Very interesting in that. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to actually push through this or not, but this is their so-called plan. So let's keep going. Inflation. Trump has pledged to end the inflation nightmare, but his policies, which include aiding, I don't even know this word, to all imported goods, will likely fuel inflation and reverse some of the progress of the last 2 years. Some economists says. Now, real quick before I keep going, inflation. Quite honestly, I think this is more towards the problem with the entire shutdown of the entire the what do you call that? The pandemic. My fault. For the pandemic, I think once the pandemic hit it and they had to raise taxes and all this stuff, I think this is the results from the pandemic. And like I said, I've said this before. Y'all probably never heard that because I don't really talk to y'all like that. But I've said this before in public. I've said it to many people. I said until we get back to how it was in 2019, not anything past 2020, I mean 2010s anything. Just the prices that we had in 2019 would do the world just fine. I think people will be fine with that because right now everything is inflated for many reasons. So if anybody can knock down the inflation parts just to get it back to 2019, so everything before COVID happened and the pandemic happened, I think we'll be okay. Now, to go farther than that and cut some more, that's a whole different conversation. Right now, I think we should just focus on returning everything back to all the prices that was in 2019. Just go back to 2019. That's how I look at it. Of course, that's just me. Anything beforehand, that's a whole different argument. That's a whole different subject on its own. Just 2019, go backwards. We should be. I think everybody will be okay with that. In my personal opinion, I don't know. I'm not everybody. Just saying. Uh, child tax credit. Uh, Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio, Trump's running mate, has pitched boosting the child tax credit to $5,000, up from the current tax break of $2,000. He has advocated providing the tax credit to all Americans, including high earners. Harris one upped Vance's number, suggesting a child tax credit of $6,000, although this would be for the parents of newborns. She's also suggested a return to the pandemic era expansion of the child tax credit up to 3,600 for young children. She hasn't released income eligibility threshold, but it's likely that it would phase out for those at higher income levels. Now, now I'm not super sure who made this article, right? Shout out to CBS because I'm using our website. However, I understand that we're supposed to be looking at both sides, but right now I want to focus on just Trump's side. I didn't need to hear about Harris's side just yet because we'll be getting to hers next. But that's a little bit tidbit. Abortion. This should be interesting. Both Trump and Harris have highlighted the Supreme Court reversal of Roe versus Wade in June of 2022 and the role that the three justices appointed by Trump played in that landmark decision, albeit for different reasons. Trump has touted his nomination of three of the five justices who voted to overturn Roe, while Harris has criticized her opponent for was it specifying selected justice who dismantled the Constitution right to abortion. Let me scroll down a little bit for y'all. That's probably reading because y'all know I suck at reading. There we go, right there. Trump has said the issue should be left up to the voters of each state, declaring in the April video that the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. While Trump has stopped short of backfiring a federal abortion ban, he said during a March radio interview that people are agreeing on 15. And I'm thinking in terms of that. During his first presidential debate with Harris, however, Trump declared, "I'm not signing a ban." He did not offer a direct response when asked whether he'll veto a national abortion ban if it were passed by Congress. "I won't have to," he said, but when asked for a yes or no, because running mate Senator J.D. Vance has said that you would veto, Trump responded, "I didn't discuss it with J.D. in all fairness." Okay, okay. Push back on him, Trump. Push back on him. I ain't gonna lie. Push back on that. But Trump has also called a 6-week ban signed into law by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis a terrible thing and a terrible mistake. He told NBC News in an interview in late August that 6 weeks is too long and said he is going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. A reference to a proposal amendment to Florida's constitution that is on the November ballot and would prohibit laws that restrict abortion before feeble feeble uh, viability, generally considered to be between 22 and 24 weeks of pregnancy. Trump backtracked it after facing swift backlash from conservatives and said he will be voting no on the abortion amendment. Quick thing, quick thing, quick thing, real quick. Okay. No, thank you, love. What's going on? It's probably put it on a charger. Put it on a charger. Okay. That's what's up. Shout out to children. Let me get myself back on screen real quick. Anything that does with a woman's body should be up to a woman. Period. Whatever they want to do with their bodies is their decision. So the fact that this stuff is going, men do not have an opinion on this at all. 0%, zero. This many, zero, zip, zada nada. Whatever a woman feel like is best for her and her body, that's what's best for her and her body. No man should argue what a woman wants to do with their body. That's just that simple. It's just that simple. Next up, we got IVF. I don't know what IVF is. Access into what's this? Fertilization services. I messed all that up. I don't even know. became a campaign issue after the Alabama Supreme Court ruled in February that frozen embryos created during the IVF process could be considered children. The decision threatened the availability of IVF services in Alabama and thrust access to fertile treatments into the national conversation, including among the presidential um, candidates. Trump unveiled a new plan last month that required a federal government or insurance company to cover the cost of IVF treatments, which can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Once again, like I said, like I just told y'all, let a woman do what she needs to do with her body. You know what I'm saying? They need to fix. They got to do some stuff to their body. They got to do some stuff to their body. I said it once. I said it twice. This is a light one. This is a big one right here. Immigration. Trump has promised to launch the largest deportational operation in American history, invoking the notorious Operation Wetback, round up of Mexican immigrants and Mexican Americans in the 1950s under President Dwight Eisenhower. Officials question whether the promise is feasible given the significant operation and legal constraints involved in deporting millions of unauthorized immigrants, some of whom have U.S. citizen children. Trump vowed to try to end birthright citizens for the children of immigrants living in the country illegally, a move that legal experts says is unlikely to pass constitutional muster. The former president says he has to. He said, I lost where I was at. Ha. The former president says he has plans to reinstate his hardline border policies, including a program requiring um, migrants to remain in Mexico while their asylum cases are reviewed. He also pledged to militarize the U.S. Mexican border and to what's this deputinize the National Guard to arrest migrants crossing into the country unlawfully. All right, let me go ahead and scroll down for the people who are actually reading this because you know my sucks. Sorry, I apologize. Y'all know I'm bad at speaking. Trump has not ruled out reviving the practice of separating migrant parents from their children as a way to determine migration, a policy that was discontinued after public outcry in a order. Judicial order. He has talked about denying entry to legal immigrants based on their ideological beliefs, saying that the move would target Marxists. I don't know that word, and communists. Trump says he suspended refugees emissions from the Middle East and suggested he would reinstate and expand the travel ban the travel ban his administration issued for certain countries, most of them predominantly Muslims. Okay. Harris has not issued an immigration policy platform. Uh, I forgot where I was at. Harris has not issued an immigration policy platform when talking about the issue during the campaign events. Harris has mostly brought up the I do not know that word. I'm not even gonna try it. I ain't gonna try it, people. I'm sorry. Border security deal that collapsed in Congress earlier this year after Trump urged GOP lawmakers to reject it. Harris has promised to revive the bill and accused Trump of scoffing it for political reasons. Now, I know I suck at reading because, golly, man, I'm struggling. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I apologize. Y'all get the whole struggle. Y'all get the real me. This the struggle me. I don't know a lot of things. I don't know big words. I don't know half these words. I'm like, I don't even seen this word before. I apologize, but y'all, that's why there's an article up there. That's why I told y'all to go to CBSnews.com, go look it up, go look at their plans, and then you go struggle and read that in your own private home. I'm doing my best. Education, something that Oklahoma definitely needs since apparently we're ranked number 49 out of 50 states, which is kind of crazy work to me, but you know, I guess it is what it is. Education. Trump says he wants to break up the educational department. Oh, what? He also said he wants to cut federal spending for any schools pushing critical race theory or transgender matters. Like many Republicans, Trump is also a pro. What is this? Proponent of school choice, embedding parents to use tax dollars, towards private institutions rather than public schools. In 2018, a federal court approved a 25 million settlement with students who said they were misled by Trump and his now defunct Trump University. The institution was supposed to teach them the real estate business. It operated from 2005 to 2010. Dang man, I hate to be that dude. Hey bro, I ain't know you had a whole institutional that went underground. Ooh, that's an L, my boy. What's going on here? I mean, I ain't gonna lie. You gotta do better, something, man. You got all that money. You screwing up your money with all this, man. That's how you know you got money to spend. You could just do stuff and like it fails. You be like, it's whatever. A L is an L. That's crazy work. I ain't gonna lie. Climax. Trump has summed up his energy policy with the slogan "Drill, baby, drill." He vows to make America the world's leading producer of oil and gas, and part of lifting restrictions on energy production. Trump's energy plan, shared with CBS News via email, said he'll slash energy and electricity prices by more than half. That's what's up. As president, Trump proposed large cuts to the Environmental Protection Agency, which were ultimately rejected by the Democrat-led House Appropriations Committee. He told Fox News in June, one of the things that's so bad for us in is environmental agency that make it impossible to do anything. Okay, that's all I'm gonna have to say. Okay, let me scroll down for my people that's reading. I got y'all. I got y'all. Trump pulled. Well, there we go. Trump pulled out the landmark Paris Climate Agreement in 2020, and his campaign says he would again exit the international treaty if he wins another term. The U.S. rejoined the agreement in 2021, a decision announced the day Mr. Biden took office. Wow, I can't read. Trump vowed he will undo what he calls Biden's electric vehicle mandate on day one in office. The Biden Harris administration has not issued any sort of mandate, but has introduced incentives to spur EV adoptions at set goals and set a target that half of all new vehicle sales will be zero emissions by 2030. Now, let me hold on. Let me scroll down. Let me scroll down to the next part first. Let me scroll down to the next part. Put myself back on camera. All right. I'll tell y'all right now. I like my gas car. My lady, she works with a guy who drives an electric vehicle. He cannot take his electric vehicle out of the city because he needs to charge it. His vehicle only lasts like I think he said like a day, a couple hours or something like that. Enough time for him to get to work and probably get back home. That is it. So quite honestly, I don't really care for an electric vehicle. I said until electric vehicle can take you out of town without having to charge that much, unless it can last 3 days without it needing to be fully charged. There's no point of no electric vehicles. Right now, we making steps. But if you watch any old movies, especially back in the 80s, even the 90s, that was talking about what the 2020s look like, electric vehicles supposed to have already been a thing so far, so deep that they'll last a whole week or something, and we not even anywhere close to that. I'm just saying. Hey, I'm just saying. So, mm, mm. Guns. The NRA endorsed Trump in May at its annual convention, and he has addressed the group several times, including in 2022, shortly after the U oh, I don't, whatever shooting this was. I don't the Uvalde shooting, the UVALDE shooting. At another NRA event in February, he vowed no one will lay a finger on your firearms. After the Vegas shooting in October 2017, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms under the Trump administration moved forward with a ban on bump stocks devices that greatly increase the rate of fire of wait greatly increased the rate of fire of semi-automatic weapons. The ban was later struck down by the Supreme Court. I'm gonna apologize to y'all right about my child in the background. She's a little upset about something. What it is, I have no idea, quite honestly. Israel and Gaza, both Harris and Trump have at times been critical of Israel's handling of its war against Hamas and Gaza, but neither has threatened to pull support for the ally. Trump, who has portrayed himself as a staunch defender of Israel, a stunt, I don't even know that word, has, I know, Harvard reading, has criticized Israel's government's handling of the war in Gaza. In November interview with the UN Vision, Trump commented on the war in Gaza, saying Israel has to do better job of public relations. Frankly, because the other side is beating them at the public relations in front. He also called on Israel to get it over with in an interview with the conservative radio host Q Hewitt. As president, Trump controversially moved the U.S. embassy from don't know that area to Jerusalem and ended decades of U.S. oppression to Israel's settlements in the occupied West Bank. The Biden administration reversed the settlement decisions. Uh, Look at me real quick, people. Let me tell you something real quick. What I want to say, I can't say yet. I gotta wait. Let's go to Ukraine and Russia. Apparently, these are major points in our U.S. government stuff. I guess. Quite honestly, not mine. No, I ain't gonna say nothing. Never mind. No, mind. I don't want to offend nobody today. Not yet. Not yet. Ukraine and Russia. Trump has reportedly claimed he could end the war in Ukraine in a day. Though he has not outlined how he would do so, he also claimed that Russian President Vladimir Putin would never have invaded Ukraine under his administration. Vance has been vocal about the GOP's ticket oppression to additional Ukraine aid. Trump himself pushed for a load framework for aid to Ukraine during debate over aid package in February. At a rally in June, he suggested aid to Ukraine could stop if he returned to office. Let me scroll down a tad bit for y'all super readers. Trump spoke to Ukrainian President. I will not say that name because I don't know. Over the phone in July. A phone conversation between the two leaders nearly 5 years prior spurns Trump's first impeachment, while Trump pushed for President Z, is what I'm gonna call him, to investigate his politic rival Joe Biden and his son Hunter. Trump has also has Trump has suggested he would not protect NATO members from Russia if they don't increase defense spending. Trump attempted to build friendly relations with Russia while in office and has often praised Putin, calling the Russian leader savvy. After Putin recognized the independence of two Russian separationist control areas in eastern Ukraine and had the invasion. Okay. Okay. Next list we're talking about has to be China. Find out what we're supposed to be doing about China, supposedly. Trump told Bloomberg Business Week in July that I know the name of this. Taiwan should pay for the U.S. protection. In the Senate, Harris co-sponsored the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act and the don't know that you word Human Rights Policy Act. Trump signed both into law. In a recent interview with Fox News host Mark Levin, Trump said he respected China and what's this was in its leader. I'm gonna say China's leader, adding that he'd rather have a good relationship with China. But he also accused the country of taking advantage of the United States. I think this is all in that one spot, right? Okay. Trump has threatened to escalate his trade war with China, floating a tariff of 60% or more on Chinese goods. Trump has also proposed revoking China's most favorite nation trade status, phasing out all imports of initial goods from China and banning China from buying U.S. farmland. Interesting. And this last spot for Trump's side happens to be Iran's nuclear deal. It's unclear whether Harris would seek to cut a new nuclear deal with Iran if she wins the election. Trump rejected the Obama era deal, formerly known as the Joint Comprehension Plan of Action, and removed the United States from the international agreement. In 2018, he withdrew the United States from the 2015 deal. Trump Trump called it the Shrek. I forget. I'm blanking on his name for some. It's a great embarrassment. I forgot the name of the word. It's in my face, but for some reason I'm forgetting the name of the word. So that is President candidate. I should not say president, but candidate Trump and his supposedly this is his plans. That's his plan supposedly. So let me stop sharing my screen real quick. That way I can go ahead and flip over to Harris's side. Like I said, I'm a comment on a certain stuff, but I'm not here to react to him. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to judge because I have my own thought process. And if you're out there trying to go vote, I don't want to affect your thought process because of anything I say here on the internet or on this podcast. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to read the plans to you guys. Now, if they make new plans between now and when I drop this, hey, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? But now we're looking at Madam Harris and her plan of actions if she becomes president. And she has about the 50% chance, as so does Trump. They both have 50-50 in my personal opinion because I don't know what people think of. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally. That's just me. All right, we got to start from the top again. Tax plan. Tax plan. I think we did this. Here is Harris's proposal so far. Harris says she's I hate ads on. Ad blocker, let me know because I need to get one. I don't know where I'm gonna get one at, but I need to get one. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Harris says she provide bigger tax benefits for families, but would offset the cost by raising corporate taxes, while Trump said he'll extend the taxes enacted in 2017. Under Harris' tax plan, according to analysts by the Penn Whatever budget model, 95% of Americans will see lower taxes and higher earners will pay more taxes. The top 1%, 0.1%, whose annual average income exceeds 14 million will pay about 167,000 more in taxes. Harris wants to eliminate federal taxes on tips, which Trump first proposed, and then for this last small little paragraph here, she also says she wants to provide a financial cushion for small businesses with a tenfold increase in the startup expense deduction, lifting it from $5,000 to $50,000. New businesses wouldn't need to claim the deduction in their first year when many take losses and will not be able to use it. Instead, they'll be able to wait until they're uh, what is this word? Pro profitable. Profitable. I know that word. I know it's together. I gotta spell it out. Profitable, and uses the deduction at that time. Businesses will also be able to take part of the deduction in year one and save the rest for future years. Interesting. I think some of the stuff is going to be something we saw from the Trump side of things, and it's just being retold here for her side and whatever difference she has. So we're talking about child tax credit. Trump's running mate JD Vance pitched boosting the child tax credit to 5,000 to $5,000, up from the current top tax break of $2,000. Harris one upped Vance number, suggesting a child tax credit of $6,000, although this will be for the parents of newborns. Harris also suggests a return to the pandemic era expansion of the child tax credit up to 3,600 for young children. She hasn't released income eligibility thresholds, but it is likely that that would phase out for those at higher income levels. I forgot what I was reading. I'm sorry. Income levels. Earlier this year, Senate Republicans blocked legislation that would have increased the child tax credit. Mm. I know I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just saying, it's not the first time I heard one side try to block the other side about doing something. That's all. That's all. Housing shortage. This is something that I didn't see on Trump's side. So this is a new one. Harris says she'll address the nation's housing shortage with several initiatives. She promised to build 3 million affordable new homes and rentals by the end of her first term, offering tax breaks to builders who construct homes for first-time home buyers. She's also proposing a $40 billion fund to help local governments find solutions to the low housing stock. And she wants to provide Americans who have paid, sorry, forgot where I was at. And she wants to provide Americans who have paid their rent on time for 2 years with up to $25,000 in down payment assistance with more support for her first generational home owners. Yeah, I think Trump should have Trump should have said something about that, in my personal opinion. I'm just saying he should have had something about that on his side too. Inflation. Inflation has cooled nearly to pre-pandemic levels. It is now at 2.9%, where prices have risen nearly 21% since the beginning of the pandemic. A recent survey found two-thirds of middle income families said they are falling behind their cost of living. Harris is trying to adjust the effects of inflation on lower and mid class Americans, an approach used by the Biden administration. She blames price gouging by food suppliers and grocery chains for high prices at the store and pledges to take on corporations with the first federal law against price gouging. Eco- Economicists have expressed doubts about the what is word is this one? If infant, I mean, if I don't know that one, as such a law because they said that the reason for food inflation are complex. I should bring up a little. I should bring up a dictionary on the side so I can understand these words. But you know what? Bring up. I'm gonna bring up Google on the side. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to do that because that word just threw me completely off, and I don't like being thrown off that badly for a word that I should know. How you spell it? EFF. I know. Sorry. This is yeah. Let me go back up. Where is it? EFFICACY. What is that? What does that mean? The power to produce a desired result. Oh, I hate people that use big words. Forget them. And finally, she wants to lower prescription drugs costs, which has been a focus for the Biden administration. Last month, the White House announced hmm, sorry, Medicare reached agreements with drug manufacturers for lower prices for 10 drugs that treat a range of ailments from heart failure and blood clots to diabetes, resulting in savings for patients of 38% to 79%, according to the Centers of and Medicare services. It was Harris who cast the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act, which granted Medicare the drug no get nail. I don't know why I'm messing up. The gate. I forgot. In 30. What is this called? Notigating authority. That's the word I'm looking for. Holy crap! I'm sorry. I read that mug and I was like, don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry, I can embarrass myself I can embarrass myself out there. That's okay. If your favorite YouTuber or podcaster don't do that, they ain't real YouTubers or podcasters. Immigration. Harris has not issued an immigration policy platform. At campaign events, Harris has mostly brought up the whatever this word is border security deal that collapsed in Congress earlier this year after Trump urged GOP lawmakers to reject it. Harris has promised to receive the bill and accused Trump of scuffling it for political reasons. The legislation have enacted permanent restrictions on asylum, giving the president the power to quickly deport migrants when border crossings soar, and boosted the ranks of border agents, deportation officers, immigration judges, and asylum. Ooh, I don't know this word either for some reason. It would also have expanded legal immigration, allowing allocating 50,000 new immigrant visa annually for 5 years. Okay, I have to scroll it down a little bit. Crazy part. I'm not going to. That's just not me. What is it? The bipart border deal did not include a legalization program for undocumented immigrants, a longtime Democratic priority in immigration negations. Negations? Negations. I'm saying it wrong. Harris has expressed support for an earned path to citizenship for this population on the campaign trail. Oh, uh, looks like dude or a female name. I don't. I want to say this is Julia Chavez Rodriguez, Harris campaign manager, signaled to CBS News, that Harris will likely continue a June order by Mr. Biden that has severely curtailed access to the U.S. asylum system. It's a move officials credit for a 4-year low in immigrant border crossing. And Harris' campaign has tried to distance her from the more liberal immigration position. Oh, I'm sorry. She exposed? No, not exposed. That's is man when she was a presidential candidate in 2020. Those prior positions included an openness to decriminalizing the act of crossing the border without authorization over him in immigration and customs enforcement, aka ICE. I am struggling horribly with these words. I apologize. Once again, CBS News, you can look up their plans and you can go struggling by yourself. I'm doing my part. Or you? No. Now we're talking about abortion. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna reread the same stuff. We're gonna skip because the whole first thing I've read on the Trump side, I think I read majority of that, right? I guess we could do a quick one on this one because I'm reading it now. So both Trump and Harris have highlighted the Supreme Court's reversal of Roe versus Wade in June 2022 and the role that the three justices appointed by Trump played in that landmark decision. I bet for different reasons. Trump has touted his has touted his nomination of three of the five justices who voted to overturn Roe, while Harris has criticized his opponent for specifically selecting justices who would dismantle the constitutional right to abortion. Since the High Court's decision in Dobbs versus Jackson, women's health organization, nearly one-third of states have near total bans on the procedure in place, while access to abortion is uh, severely restricted in a handful of others. Harris has made abortion rights a focal point of her campaign and lambasted Trump's abortion bans on the trial. In her speech at the Democratic Nationality Convention, accepting the party's presidential nominee, the vice president pledged to sign into law legislation that restores the federal right to abortion if a bill is passed by Congress. Once again, like I said earlier, I've said it many times already. I guess what they need to do with their bodies when it comes to certain things. That's it. There's no there's no reason for a man to be telling, hey, you need to do this with your body. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Back up. That's all I gotta say. Now look at the IVF, which I know I struggle horribly with those words. Um, I'm not reading all that beginning of it because that was on the. It's basically the same thing, right? Basically the same thing we read from the Trump side. Harris has repeatedly said she supports the rights of women to make their own decision about their bodies and family planning, and told the crowd at the DNC that since Roe's reversal, she has heard stories of couples who have had their IVF treatments cut off. The vice president said in a video shared to social media that Trump is literally the architect of this entire crisis. It said that the Alabama ruling is a direct result of the Supreme Court's decision overturning Roe. See this right here, this I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That part right there, that entire what was that part? The IVF and stuff, and the in the abortion stuff. Quite honestly, Trump has to be very careful about that part because he can easily lose. He can easily lose because of that. I'm not gonna lie. He can easily lose the running because of that. Because remember, there's gonna be a lot of women voting out there, and women love their bodies, and they don't need a man to tell them what to do with their bodies. So if you are against telling a woman what she can and can't do with her body, you kind of like you right you be pushing it to taking that L, in my personal opinion. So like I said, he has to be very very careful about that part because that right there could make him lose automatically almost. So I don't know if their campaign fixed that part or not, but if they have not, they better get on it because November is legitimately a couple months away. It is legitimately around the corner. It is not too far, and he better get up on it. Like I said, that's just my personal opinion. I'm just saying. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, I'm sorry. I had to put a pause on my thing. I had to plug up my laptop before it dies on me. That would suck, you know. I know y'all like hearing me struggle. Like I said, if you're new to the podcast, if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and me struggling to the world, right? And if you're on Spotify or Amazon Music, first of all, hey, how you doing? Go ahead, hit the like button. I mean, hit the share button. Rate this 1 out of 5, and you can hit the comment section also. Like I said, the only thing I'm doing is just reading what they said, what their plans are. That's all I'm doing. I'm just reading the parts in small commentary. So next up, we got climate. I don't know why. It's not my fault. Climate. Harris has not outlined her climate policy yet, but she is expected to continue to pursue the goals of the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, which funded energy and climate projects aimed at reducing carbon emissions by 40% by 2030. As vice president, Harris advocates moving the country towards a clean energy economy while not completely backing away from oil and gas, which is a major industry in the battleground states like Pennsylvania. The Keystone State is one of the top national gas producers in the country. Let me scroll a little bit for you guys that are watching the video itself. Da-da-da-da. Let it load back up. Like I'm like literally right here next to the freaking box and it still struggles sometimes. In an interview with CNN, Harris said that as president, she wouldn't ban fracking, a departure from a statement she made in 2019 that she'll support a fragile ban. citing the creation of 30,000 clean energy jobs during the Biden administration. She told CNN that her experience as vice president jobs were created under the Biden Harris administration in both 2021 and 2022. The Democratic Party platform says it would increase the protection against presidential presidency. Mr. Biden approved almost 50% more gas and oil leases during his time in office than Trump did his first 3 years of office. Mandate on day one of office. A spokesperson for Harrison's campaign told whatever this is, X, Exos, I don't know. Harris doesn't support an electric vehicle mandate. The Biden administration has not issued a mandate, but it has introduced incentives to encourage Americans to buy EVs and set a target that half of all new vehicle sales by zero emission by 2030. Like I said earlier, my lady, yeah, about that. He can't go out of town with the mug. So about that, you know, say about that. My apologies. I had a little bit of a technical difficulties over here, but I'm back. Let's get through this because I'm ready to get through this. Guns. Talking about the gun stuff. President Biden in 2022 signed the most significant update to gun safety law in almost 3 decades in the wake of mass shootings in don't know that spot, Texas and New York. The Safer Communities Act. Um, what is this? I forgot this word. I know this word, but I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on it. Argumental background checks for gun buyers under 21, providing billions for mental health services, and close the so-called boyfriend loophole to prevent convicted domestic abusers from purchasing a firearm for 5 years. It also clarified the definition of gun dealers. 26 GOP-led states are suing to block this provision. The measure also creates penalties for straw purchases and gun trafficking. In 2023, Mr. Biden announced the creation of the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention to be overseen by Harris. Okay. Before nominee Harris visit, what is his name? Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, the site of the 2018 mass shooting that left 17 dead, what you call on states to pass red flag laws, which allow courts to seize guns from those deemed to be a threat to themselves or others. 21 states have enacted red flag laws, but many do not enforce them. She also announced federal funding and resources aimed at providing training and technical assistance to help states with their red flag programs. In 2024, the Justice Department announced the creation of the National Extreme Risk Protection Order Research Center. That's a mouthful. Dedicated to training and technical assistance to support states and what is this localities in implementing their red flag programs. At her speech at the Democrat National Convention, Harris only made passing reference to gun violence. In this election, many other fundamental freedoms are at stake, she said. The freedom to live safe from gun violence in our schools, communities, and places of worship. Now, I know she also doubled back down on that, saying that we're not trying to take away your, and her running mate also have guns. So, I mean, we'll see. Education. As a senator, Harris backed a bill that will provide tuition-free college for most families. The Democratic Party's platform also calls for free college tuition for all. This is not an idea Harris has been discussing on the campaign trail, because that's a lot of money. I'm just saying. Um, of course, overseas stuff, Israel. Um, Harris has called the bloodshed in Galveston devastating, but vowed there will be no change in policy towards Israel. She has pushed for a ceasefire deal that will release the remaining hostages held by Hamas. She backs a two-state solution. Okay, that's all I can say is okay. Ukraine and Russia. Harris pledged in her DNC address that she would stand strong when Ukraine and our NATO allies. Harris accused Russia of committing crimes against humanity in Ukraine a year after the war began. The Biden administration has spearheaded a number of aid packages for Ukraine, including weapons, and work with allies to sanction Russia for its invasion. Still, the administration's response, especially early on in the war, has been criticized as slow moving and more recently Republican opposition in Congress further slowed aid to Ukraine. Make no comments. uh, that's not like a villain. China. Harris has offered few details about her China policy, with different from Mr. Biden. In her DNC, because I'm not saying that speech, Harris said America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century. She told Face of the Nation in September 2023 that the U.S. China and ecom ecom yeah relationship is not about decoupling; it's about de-risking. Harris briefly met with Chinese President X. I ain't gonna say his name in June 22, and what's his bag? I should know this word. I should know this country's name. For some reason, I cannot. Amid friction between two countries, the vice president said she stressed the need to maintain open lines of communication to responsibly manage the competition between our countries. She has condemned China's aggression in the South China Sea, accusing it of undermining key elements of the international rules based order and coercing and imitating its neighbors. Has also reaffirmed the U.S. support for, for Taiwan. In the Senate, Harris corresponded the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act and the whatever that U word is, Human Rights Policy Act. Trump signed both into law. And then finally, so y'all can stop hearing me struggle, so I can stop struggling myself. Still, it's unclear whether Harris would seek to renegotiate. There you go, renegotiate. That's renegotiate, renegotiate it, or whatever. A new nuclear deal with Iran if she wins the election. During the 2020 campaign, Harris, who was running in a crowded Democratic presidential primary, told the Council on Foreign Relations that she would seek to rejoin the Iran nuclear agreement so long as Iran has also returned viable complex. That's it. I'm glad y'all struggle with me. That's it. That is all their plans on both on uh, every single subject possible. That's what they supposedly. That's what their plans are. Of course, let me know down in the conversation what you're thinking. I'm not gonna debate you over politics. No, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not gonna debate you over the politics or anything like that. I just want you to let you guys know what your two candidates are. Technically, it's more than two candidates, but the two main candidates that people are gonna most likely vote for between the two. This is their plans. This is their thought process when regarding to issues that they have named off. You heard Trump side first, then you heard Kamala side last. Battle of the two. November is coming up. If you're not registered to vote in your state or in your state, at least you need to go do that. Figure it out. Figure out. Sit down. Speak with your loved ones. Speak what benefits you. Who benefits you the most. Um, that's it, pretty much. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for because I'm not telling you who to vote for. That's not my job. My job is to give you the information and you make your own decisions. There's some big words in there that your boy struggled with heavily. I don't know why. Those words I knew, and for some reason I struggle to say it. It's crazy. It is crazy. But like I said, if you're on YouTube, hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video everywhere. Figure out what you need to figure out on Spotify and Amazon Music. Go ahead, hit the follow button, hit the share button, rate it 1 out of 5. And of course, if you're on Spotify, go to YouTube, The House of Drake. And if you're on YouTube, go to I have audio. I do audio a lot on Spotify and apparently Amazon Music nowadays. So that's it. I'll catch y'all on the next podcast.